And a very good afternoon. Basically, it's the first light language activation of this new year, which I feel is just kind of starting. You know, there is always a great noise at our December 31st New Year, and it feels like we should be out there celebrating and so on. But if you don't want to, it's fine, because so often the new year actually starts later. It starts when the energy picks up, when we feel we've settled in. And we need to remove this kind of pressure that says, right, 31st of December, you've got to go out and celebrate and make your new commitments. And quite frankly, it's exhausting. But, you know, I wondered what we're going to come and talk about. And they said to me that we need to talk about how this year is different. You know, I am sure loads of you will agree that last year was utterly exhausting. You know, it felt like we were trudging through the heaviest energy, desperately trying to keep going forwards and also trying to stop things from falling apart. It felt like seams were just being pulled apart so much, so deeply. And we didn't want things to fall apart because, you know, obviously when things do, there is a nervous system shock. We don't necessarily cope very well with extreme and sudden change. So we sort of desperately held on and said, no, we can hold things together. But this year it feels like there is now enough space within those seams that we can come through and we can bring through a different energy. We can bring through a solution, you know, a different way of being, a different way of doing things. Because we've tried so hard. You know, when we look at solutions, we've kind of forced them through and said, right, we're going to solve this. We're going to find a way. And it takes a committee to sit down and examine things and build a plan and all this. And it feels so fake, so false, so much striving in there. And all they're doing is they're building a solution out of the old energy. You know, it's a bit like being in a greenhouse. You know, you have all these tubes and everything that the plants have to go through and the cucumbers have to go through. So you've got straight cucumbers and beautiful plants, and it's an old system. And whereas this year feels like we are going to take the possibility of these plants, of us, and we're just going to allow it to grow naturally and organically, because solutions don't arise because you force something into a shape. Solutions come because we are allowed to feel, to express ourselves, to uncover what it is that we want. You know, last year we shed so much. The number of people who have described last year as a purge is quite extraordinary, because it was, you know, we had to clear all this energy out of the way so that we could begin to come back to the soil and come back to sort of Mother Nature and breathe again. I don't think we breathed last year. We just kind of tumbled from one mass difficulty, one mass purge to the next one. And now it feels like we just need to ground, to settle, to nurture ourselves and each other, and to feel that beautiful support, and to support each other and to support ourselves, rather than, you know, our old systems are very much based on who is better than another, who's going to win the race, who's going to, and yes, we're humans. We know that, you know, we are always involved in some kind of battle with ourselves or with other people about who's better. But, you know, this is nature, it's what it does. But we also have an incredible spiritual side, an incredible loving and caring side that can very easily support each other. that can step back from this mass competition that we get so caught up into, and rather say we can actually be here and lift each other up, because it is in raising the energy that we all benefit. Not that one person raises the energy and they go leaping ahead of anybody else and we're going to leave everybody else behind. This is what I hear so much even about the ascension journey is, we mustn't worry about other people. We have to just focus on ourselves and rise up, and they'll get left behind. There is no getting left behind. We do this work for everybody. And it feels like there is a time now to connect our hearts, to connect to each other, to build something that arises not from the foundation of this competition world that is very much 3D, but actually a sense of what is good for us as human beings. We try to live in a world that isn't necessarily good for us. It is so artificially based. It is so, designed to create structures that actually don't support us as human beings. And we need to come back in and allow this plant the freedom to grow into whatever shape it wants to be, without somebody turning around and telling that flower that it is wrong. We live in this mass system where everybody says, if you don't support this, if you don't believe this, you are wrong, and if we can just leave people alone, let them find their way without social media telling them what they've got to be. Social media is great because it allows us to connect, but some social media will tell people, you have to do this, your problem is because of blah, blah, blah. If we can just leave people alone, they will figure it out, and they will be able to find their path and go to somebody and say, can you help me figure out what's going on? Or I figured out what's going on in me, and can you help me heal it? This is the organic way of healing. This is the natural way of healing. And it's time now to stop being involved in everybody else's business and tell them how they should be living their life, because it's our opinion. And if we each step out of everybody else's lives and let them feel what they need, they will find it. And instead, we come back into ourselves and start saying, what do I need? Okay, because when we start asking that question about what do you need, what do I need, then we can allow that solution to rise, because we're not so involved in all the noise out there. And this is how solutions come. It is by spending time with ourselves, and then perhaps spending time with people who resonate with our solution. And then we bring solutions together, and then beautiful things happen. But I really feel we need to come back to a gentleness, to a nature way of living, a natural way of being. And it doesn't mean that we've all got to leave the cities and run off to the countryside. It's not that. You can live to your own rhythms, to your own cycles, so easily, no matter where you are, because nature is in you, nature is you. All you've got to do is listen, feel, and go with that flow, and seek the help when you need it, rather than saying, this 3D world says I can push through and I must push through and I can do it alone. This pride in saying I did it alone. Instead of that, listen, feel, and then act upon what it is that you know you need. So this is what we're going to do this year. and build some beautiful solutions. Now, I've got a whole bunch of light beings with me who are literally just going, we're waiting. So we're going to let the light language flow, and I have no idea what it's going to be. So let's find out. So sit back and relax. Listen with your heart, not your ears, and enjoy with thanks. Morati shura kusiti anata vrata tu sira ungarma kantidjora na junkora zatatayi ni jorambara shizedia shizemara tu siat kurkarndenia wara partusha zariti skora te kusha harapatisia na duna yittu rari kishkora marskore sutijar tumruko eschiada diarndo do shor sipra kumaretu paravana korishki se attianyora ida ormia tu siaka marish kor marzo tu siar utia ota marotit skura sita ita amora par chiamare na io tu ishwar ndo positora tarissia Marmbor korgano karo tishwarnza isk bar tatituna amior tu arsipianta arsi narundorangar torando arsku arsicia marmo ota mora nitinyara orturara da barkiora sinjara tora marembora sieta cora taurusinia taurubaranokoro kuarasi Karinaya, warndi shkia, tamore sisi dari, namorodora orsijora. Marutukiska artatanomaratishka. Moresi, torniata varli torand jukaro so, tatimrata paragoya, iska marasitja, me mara. Morjiusha, orsia. Marzu kurnar marpare te tio ti dorana di tasiar tu cora cinia weyesi maronunda itanor tanya si cor sati carina moranji cor setia taiske mamora te nana ni marotana ci cora sa Tora si kiana marora da maro tua si carita borjo corsaya na mosia dia ratotomaron quesia. Is they're saying part of this is we have to honor ourselves. Marundaisha wariskia na mea nunar corascora marato dojara sitia tinyawara si. For too long we have thought of ourselves as just these almost evil little beings. We have to start seeing the light. The light inside of ourselves. And we have lived for so long at the mercy of other people's ideas of who we are. Mamari okura sar tikura barakalanjasia. Tanyara totoku eskaranda marshik siyaran korashiksa. Toranjimro korora keora sikora. Tamia ruiski adnar. Marinski oranda koseya. Karumbaranda kashiku iskara. It's time now that we realize just how incredibly vibrant and powerful we are. Mamarutisk wadia tanya rosusia jibwara taromesaka radikoran zakorata korabata korosaka. They're reminding me I believe it's a Bible phrase that if you follow me, you will inherit the earth. In other words, if you follow your own light, you will be able to build the life that you want by recognizing the good inside of you. You have the power to create something that is magical and that works exactly for you. Finding the solution comes when you know that there is this amazing, this incredible light inside of you. Mawra kishkwasep, maravtaparetaro. Tanukarum kies kiut kuskarum koe, the karakashkisanya, utkua, parendanshe, karindokuse. Kamiorakati, da rumba etiskum raortishka sarantokoa. Namiarun tua atiskiam kiataka. Numaranskio, tamarske, tumarskusa, kamergopara. Tanjarusticiammo, tenjawati tuara, kaurupura se karndako. Tamjuraske, askemarosokatakaya. Tarudakianja tu proquaiske sagrado karumba. Tani urtus se araitia. Morombo, et tor kerasi. Really, really just iterating the astonishing power that we have, the God inside of us, the universe inside of us, and to let go of this small idea of who we are. And we have to begin to acknowledge this real strength inside of us. Because when we do, we know that we hold the solutions to whatever we need right here. We already have it. We just have to let it out. A beautiful, beautiful and powerful message. So, yes, let's go and find the solutions. Create where we're going. Nothing more difficult than that. So thank you so much for joining me here on the first Light Language of 2026, and I hope that this year is going to be something incredible for all of us. If we stand together and link hands, I know it will be. I will be back, and I hope you will join me then. Mwah. Light blessings. Bye-bye.